So let's talk about what is, without a doubt, one of the most important global competitions of our time. We're breaking down the race for AI dominance between the US and China. This isn't some future sci-fi scenario, it's happening right now, and it's going to define everything.
For centuries, the way you measured a nation's power was pretty straightforward. You count its tanks, its ships, its soldiers. But that's just not the whole story anymore. The rules of the game have totally changed.
The new weapons, they aren't forged from steel. They're built from silicon and pure information. We're talking about a digital battleground where the ultimate prize is global influence.
And that, right there, is the heart of it. This is the AI race, and these two superpowers are locked in a dead sprint to win it.
So on one side, you've got the reigning champion, the USA. For decades, it's been the undisputed home of tech innovation. The Googles and OpenAIs of the world. But now, a serious challenger has entered the ring. China isn't just playing catch-up anymore. It's pushing the limits and making a real play for the top spot.
So you have to ask, how did China accelerate so incredibly quickly? Well, I can tell you, it wasn't an accident. It was all by design, following a very clear, very aggressive national playbook aimed at one thing: dominance.
Okay, so let's actually dive into this playbook. China's strategy is really built on 5 core pillars, and they all work together perfectly. It all starts with using their massive amounts of data. Then it's driven by a single unified national vision. That's backed up by a huge push to build their own hardware, fueled by an enormous homegrown AI workforce, and the whole thing gets better and better through super fast real-world deployment.
So first up, let's talk about data supremacy. You have to understand data is the fuel for modern AI. It's what these models learn from. And with 1.4 billion people, all these digital sensors, and these all-in-one super apps, China has access to the biggest data set on the planet. It's pretty simple. More data means better training, and better training means you get better, faster. It's a fundamental advantage that really no other country can match at that scale.
Now, to make sense of all that data, you need brain power, a lot of it. Well, China is churning out 1 million STEM graduates every single year. This isn't just a big number. This is about creating a massive, self-sustaining talent pipeline that's laser-focused on winning this race.
Okay, so that's China's game plan. Now let's flip the coin and look at what's happening in America. Because while China's executing this perfectly coordinated national strategy, the United States is running into some serious internal headwinds. The story here isn't just about China's rise. It's about how the champ might actually be slowing itself down.
I mean, just look at this. Back in 2017, China put it out there for the entire world to see. This is their public declaration, their long-term national goal. No ambiguity there.
And then you have this. What's the driving force for so many of the key players in the US? The next quarterly earnings report. When you put those two side by side, the difference in focus, in timeline, it's just staggering.
And it really all boils down to two completely different ways of thinking. In the US, you've got this fierce competitive environment between private companies. It's all driven by profit, and it often gets stuck dealing with slow-moving government regulations. But in China, it's a unified national mission. It's driven by a quest for power, and that allows them to move incredibly fast. And this fundamental difference creates some very real, self-imposed hurdles for the US. For instance, its greatest strength, those amazing tech giants, well, they're often busy competing with each other instead of working together on national goals. Then you have government action that can get bogged down in bureaucracy, and a culture that's sometimes afraid of the kind of big risks you need to take for big breakthroughs. Throw in a critical reliance on single companies like NVIDIA for key hardware, and a growing brain drain problem, where top talent trained in the US gets snapped up by China, and you can see how the leader can start tripping over its own feet.
So, with all that in mind, where do things actually stand right now, today? Let's take a quick look at the scorecard.
And what's really fascinating here is you can see this clear split. The US absolutely still holds a strong lead in the foundational models. We're talking the core AI engines like GPT, and also in advanced research and the conversation around AI ethics. But look where China is pulling ahead. It's in the real-world application. Things like massive surveillance systems, robotics, 5G smart cities, and autonomous manufacturing. They are deploying this stuff at an incredible scale.
So, here's the crucial takeaway. America's lead in the core technology is real, for sure. But, and this is a huge but, it is not guaranteed. China is laser-focused on catching up, and that gap is getting smaller every single year.
Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all.
This isn't just about who's winning a race today. This is about who gets to write the next chapter of history, and really, who gets to shape the world of tomorrow.
And if you just follow the current trends out, we could be headed for a really strange future, where AI leadership is essentially split right down the middle. It might not be that one side wins and the other loses. Instead, you could see the US continuing to lead in software, research, and ethics, while China completely dominates the physical world of AI, the hardware, the supply chains, the military applications.
And let's be absolutely clear about what's at stake. The winner of this race doesn't just get slightly better apps or more efficient factories. No way. They get to set the rules, they get to embed their values into the technology that runs our lives. They literally get to design the operating system for the 21st century.
And so that leaves us with the final, massive question. Can America's incredible ecosystem of innovators overcome these internal hurdles and adapt fast enough to stay ahead? Or is China's sheer scale, its unified strategy, and its absolutely blistering speed just going to make its rise to AI superpower status inevitable? The race is on, and the outcome is anything but certain.